Attempting to satisfy educational needs and bolster technological development, stakeholders in Nigeria's education sector are pushing for more vocational and technical training.
Modern-day slavery in Mauritania. While the government denies the problem, independent organizations are helping free slaves across the country.
A courageous headmaster and dedicated student in Sierra Leone are challenging a law banning pregnant teenagers from attending school. Africa 54 starts right now.
Hello and welcome to Africa 54. I'm Chamberlain Oso at Channels Television here in Lagos. I'm joined by Vincent Makori at the Voice of America in Washington.
Well, thanks. I'm Vincent Makori at our global headquarters in Washington, D.C. Happy to be with you again for another edition of Africa 54. Let's start off with a look at vocational and technical education. Chamberlain also in Lagos brings you that story.
Well, that's right. Stakeholders in the education sector are advocating a focus on vocational and technical education to equip individuals with useful skills. This direction formed the core of discussions at the 79th plenary meeting of the Joint Consultative Committee on Education in Osogbo, the Osun State capital. Participants asked the government to place a premium on self-reliance by establishing policies to encourage vocational and technical training, which will in turn reflect on the nation's technological development. Channel's correspondent Bosede Sadiq compiled the report.
The meeting of Joint Consultative Committee on Education brings together stakeholders in the education sector nationwide, including permanent secretaries of the Ministries of Education in the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. The meeting aims to address the gaps in the system and come up with strategies to ensure quality education in the country. Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Education, who is represented by the Director for Basic Senior Education, says there can only be visible development in the nation if government promotes education that is tailored towards skills acquisition.
The Federal Ministry of Education, in collaboration with the state, the FCC, and all the relevant stakeholders, developed a roadmap for the education sector called Education for Change, a ministerial strategic plan. The plan, which aligns with the Education 2030 agenda and the Sustainable Development Goal 4, is built on 10 pillars. Number 7 of the 10 pillars of the plan emphasizes that there is a need to close the skill gap by developing a workable, comprehensive technical and vocational education and training policy that pays sufficient attention to skills and know-how.
The host governor, Adegboyega Oyetola, who is also represented by the head of service, calls for concerted efforts by state governments to develop a technical and vocational education roadmap so as to take care of middle-level manpower and create jobs.
The meeting should stick on new ways to assist government at all levels to make adequate funding for education, for different education, including mobilization and sensitization of pupils and parents on school enrollment, and to develop interest as a reflex action by all agencies of education to see that every child is given the opportunity to go to school.
With the theme Education for Self-Reliance, a tool for the achievement of Education 2030 agenda, the meeting also provides recommendations to guide participating states in achieving qualitative and functional education.
Let's get more on encouraging vocational and technical education. Here to talk about that is Mr. Folahon Olumide. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
We do know that some of the challenges we face, it's not for want of effort, but the rising unemployment, it probably gives us more reason to have a rethink re-examine what we've been doing previously about this vocational and technical skills, how much commitment would you say we've paid to this?
We have tried. We've made quite a bit of commitment over the years. I think we just have not gotten it right. There are some pieces not quite fitting into place. And I think if we manage to get a strategy right, things will really take off. I think so.
When you say pieces not right, what could they be?
What could there be? Yes, government is doing its bit, setting up lots of technical colleges. And they find that somehow or the other, the students are coming out, either not finding a job or not very well trained for the part. Industries are finding that the students that come out aren't quite meeting up to their standards. And we're having difficulty having a connection between the industry that need these students and the students themselves and their capabilities. So many would even go abroad or out of this country to find their required technicians rather than use Nigerian technicians. So we have a disconnect somewhere along the line. And the country as a whole has not yet understood the zeal it should bring to technology. So they are not passing the message down properly to the young people. I think that basically is the key. There is no dignity related to being a technician.
Yeah. Because I mean, even at that point, many still think that it still comes down to your skill set. You know, because if you have these technical skills, how much focus or attention should we give to the curriculum in this area?
I think Nigerians put enough effort into curriculum. The curriculums are well laid out. But are students committed? Students will only be committed when they see the demand. There is no demand for them, actually.
For technical?
Really, that is the strange part of it. There is no demand for what they want. There aren't enough industries. So we train in vocational things, and we're finding that when we say come for our training program, say, but what will I do with it when I'm finished? Where would they absorb me?
Is that the same feedback you get from the ones that you train when they get out there? Is that the sense you get that they don't seem valued, they don't feel valued?
Well, the ones I train, we try to get them straight into doing something productive. Because we're in construction, we're designers and we build. So we train people that we can readily employ, or we know what is required out there, so we can train them, prepare them for the field. It's like saying the industrialist trains the sort of person they really want when they're in-house. So we train good artisans to be able to do classroom work in our field. We train the welders, we train the tilers, we train the POP people, and we have contracts ourselves that we do in projects. So we're able to use the people we train, quite frankly. And those that we train and get out there, we know can get the jobs because it's specific to a sort of a learning.
When you say government not doing enough, not paying that much attention, is this at the federal or state level, or it cuts across?
It cuts across. There's a cycle. And to put it simplistically, I think that we all are really guilty of not connecting the dots properly. The government is currently pushing a lot of enthusiasm into getting young people trained. Vocational training is now a big thing in all the states. They want to train young people here and there and so forth. And they offer 3 months training, 6 months training. 3 months training won't get anybody prepared. They think, oh yes, let's give them something, get them in the field to be self-employed. You can't be properly employed with 3 months training in.
All right, let's wind down with this. I know that, we just became signatories to the Africa Continental Free Trade Area.
Yes.
And we know that, technology, vocational skills is key.
Yes.
To develop in any industry, any sector.
Yes.
What would you have policymakers focus on?
I would like to see policymakers empower industrialists. They want to empower the young people, but I think government should empower industrialists. When you empower industrialists, they're going to go hunting for the students and they'll teach them the right thing. I think people are either scared of starting industries or not properly funded. To do any industry, you need the idea that you want, you need the people, I need the money. If you have all the ideas in this world and there are people waiting to do it, there's no funding. Government can relax policies enough to get banks to fund industrial movement. And, you know, if the average person who has a drive starts an industry, we should look at the kind of resources in this country and pursue it with industry. So we don't have to compete with those who are doing it very well. Fisheries is an area, we have water everywhere here. You have fishing industries all over the place. Make nets, make boats, make fish canned fish and so forth. So if we do things that we know our resources can support, and we know there's an end user or an end taker, an end consumer, then the run is easy and the banks will see their money is coming back.
Yeah, there still is dignity in labor.
There is dignity in labor.
So thank you for coming on, Mr. Falan Olumide.
Thank you very much.